Hello everybody, happy Wednesday. This is Pastor David coming to you from our office here at the Community Church of Mount Pleasant, in Mount Pleasant. We are excited, and I hope that I'm glad you visit with us every week. I'm glad we get to have this little time together. I get to come visit you wherever you are. I know it's amazing, a lot of people, more than I expected, watch this little video and from all over the place, and it just gives us a way through modern technology to stay in touch, stay connected with people, and so it's great to be able to visit with you. I just want to take a minute and recap. Last Sunday was a fantastic weekend for us. It was a great day because it was our graduate Sunday, and I believe we had 44 graduates that we recognized. It took the bulk of the service just to recognize all of our graduates and their credentials and their future plans, and hear some testimonies from a couple of our graduates, which was very inspiring, and they were very courageous as they told their stories, and Pastor Jason put all that together and led us with that, and it was just a really, really exciting time. I love these kids. I'm excited and proud of them, and a lot of people were surprised we had that many graduates in our church, and I have to be honest, I was too, but high school, college grads, and we're just very proud of them. I love this group. We told them for a couple weeks, we told them three things. We said, number one, we believe in you. Number two, we are counting on you. You don't get a free pass. You need to step up and step into what God has for you next here in this town, in this job, in your job, in this church. And thirdly, we are here for you. Sometimes we mess up. Sometimes things happen. And I want you to know that you're loved, and we are always here for you. And so Sunday was a great day. Got some things coming up. The big thing this week is Sunday night. Sunday night we're having our first baptism of the year. We have over 30 people to be baptized. We have children and teenagers and adults and all ages, and it's going to be a new location for us. One of our families has a pool out here up in Mount Pleasant, and lots of room, and we'll be going up there and doing baptism Sunday night, 6 o'clock. I hope maybe you can come. It's an adventure when we have a baptism. Everybody tells their story, and there will be some miraculous stories, and so we're just excited. All these people are following Christ and making a public profession, and that's a very, very important part of our journey with Christ. So Saturday actually is Cast His Line, where we take kids fishing, just a lot of things. So baptism is the big thing that's coming up this week, and if you can't be there, maybe you can watch us online, and it's going to be very exciting. But I have a devotional for you today. Hebrews chapter 10, 2 verses. And these verses should be somewhat familiar to you. You probably heard them before. Hebrews chapter 10, verses 24 and 25. And I want to kind of title this little talk, Stir It Up. You know, when I think about stirring something up, I think about, now, I'm not a cook. I'm not at all comfortable in the kitchen, but I understand when people cook and prepare meals, they have to put things in a pot or a kettle, and they have to stir it up. Now, individually, those things may not be great, but when they're stirred up, mixed together, it turns into something beautiful. So, stir it up. That's what the writer of the Hebrews, probably Paul, is saying to us. But let's read Hebrews 10, 24 and 25. Let us consider one another to provoke unto love and good works, not forsaking the assembling of ourselves together as the manner of some is, but exhorting one another, and so much the more as you see the day approaching. Now let me give you an observation on that. A couple things that just jump out at me. First of all, the writer says, consider one another. That speaks to me. I believe that our culture, I believe that our society in the United States of America has turned, we've become a little bit selfish, I believe. I believe that we've turned our thoughts, our mind, our ambitions maybe inward a little bit, and I think that we're a little selfish. And by nature, I know that our flesh is very selfish. We're looking out for number one. And the writer says the first phrase, let us consider one another. Think about others first. We think about ourselves first. We think about me, mine, what I want, what I'm going to do. A lot of times people's lives, their schedules, their calendars, their billfolds are scheduled around themselves. When the writer here says, think about each other. Consider one another. Well, why do we do that? Number 2, he says, stir up, provoke, stimulate, motivate, inspire one another in 2 ways. Inspire one another to love others, to love each other. Stir. You know, it's possible to stir people up in a bad way. A lot of people stir people up. They always stirring something up. Arguments and fusses and debates. Well, the writer here says stir people up to love and to do good deeds. That's a beautiful thing. Number 3, he says an interesting thing. Don't forsake the assembling of ourselves together. Don't discontinue meeting together. You know, I believe one of the tactics of the enemy is to keep us isolated. Remember in COVID, we all had to stay home? Remember that? That goes against the way God created us. We're not created to stay home and isolate. We're created to be out and mingle. And the writer says that. He said, don't stop meeting together. Don't stop gathering. Don't start gathering for church. There's still people that hadn't come back to church because of COVID. There's still people that have not begun to gather again. We need to gather together. He says, don't stop gathering as the manner of some is. A lot of people have stopped. A lot of people have stopped going to church. A lot of people have stopped getting together. And that goes back to that selfishness. It's all about me. No, it's not. And the last thing he says, exhort one another so much the more, encourage one another, because as you see the day approaching, that is the day of Christ, the day of the Lord the Lord will return, the day of judgment, the day when God wraps it all up. The day of the Lord is coming. Listen, encourage one another because we're running out of time. Did you know that? We're running out of time. The day of the Lord is coming. The day we're in right now is a day of grace, freedom. We can choose. But that day is, we're running out of time to encourage others. So consider one another, stir up one another to love and good works. Don't stop gathering, and exhort one another, encourage. I'm glad I get to visit with you today. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Come see us real soon, and I love you. Love to see you real soon. Thanks.